The finest story of Robert Burns is known as Tam O'Shanter, but the English reader only slowly learns from Burns's Scottish banter. So we've brought the story westward, of course, and called the hero Jock. We've given him a bike instead of a horse. A bike, it's an ancient crock. McBruton's his name from Bruton town. In English we've told the tale, but he wears the kilt as the Scotsman's gown and drinks whiskey with his ale. So look and listen, old or young, if you've got your dad's permission, provided that your nerves are strong, through westward television. Above the valley of Bruton town, a strange old ruin gazes down. And just above the ridge from here, the Garden of Sex's school stands near. This is the story of gardener Jock, a working man who watched the clock. On Saturdays at dinner time, on his old bicycle he'd climb, and with a working man's strong will, he'd cycle swiftly down the hill, where he could meet his cronies all assembling at the old blue ball. For when a man concludes his labours, he loves to drink with thirsty neighbours.
But when he's swigging at his beer, and getting full of ale and cheer, he thinks not of the long, long miles, the ditches, streams, and dreary wiles that stand between him and the house, where waits a frowning, angry spouse, her brows as dark as gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm.
Ignoring his wife at Saturday noon, Jock was sitting one fine June in the inn, well stocked with wine and ale that tasted quite divine. At his side was Cobbler Johnny, his drinking partner, blithe and bonny, a constant talker, Jock's best friend, and one whose thirst would know no end. The time passed by with songs and cheers, and even sweeter seemed the beer. The landlady with Jock grew pally, with quiet murmurs did they dally.
The cobbler told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus, the time flashed by. His wife might fuss, Jock didn't give a tinker's cuss. Worry, with men gay and hale, had drowned itself in their rich ale. Like bees going home with loads of treasure, the minutes flew by, full of pleasure. Kings might be rich, but Jock was glorious, over all the ills of life victorious.
But pleasures are like poppies spread. Who sees the flower, its bloom is shed. Or like a snowflake on a river, a moment white, it melts forever. No man may stop the clock or tide. The hour comes when Jock must ride. The landlord tells them very sadly, they mustn't think of him too badly. The law requires that he must close, and Jock with staggering step then goes to mount his steed with tired limbs, and now his brightness quickly dims.
Oh Jock, if you had only heeded your wife's advice and homeward speeded. She told you what a scamp you were, a prattling idler year by year. Many a day, long before night, you were well under, drunk and tight. With every talker wild and rash, you'd drink as long as you had cash. With one and all you'd celebrate, without concern for time or date. Sometimes, missing on a Sunday, they'd find you hopeless still on Monday. Your wife predicted with a quiver they'd fish you one day from the river, or you'd be taken off by witches, springing from the wayside ditches.
Our loving wives, it makes me sad to think how much advice they've had. These husbands, thoughtless, heartless beasts, always drinking late at feasts. He'd rather stop and have a sleep, these homeward hills are much too steep. But though the bear his brain may fuddle, he's not discouraged by a puddle. And though he skids in oozing mud, he'll not give up, for he's no dud. He clutches close his good blue bonnet, singing loud a Scottish sonnet, while peering round with searching care, lest goblins catch him unaware.
The dove-cut ruins were drawing nigh, where ghosts and owls do nightly cry. He passed the ford where Tom was drowned, the body being much later found. He skirted the trees without a check, where drunken Charlie broke his neck. And through the bushes thick and wild, where huntsmen found a murdered child. And near the tree by the rocky shelf, where Mungo's grandad hanged himself.
Jock manages onward still to lurch, but what's that noise above the church? A Scottish tune is weirdly droning, and sounds of cackling, shrieking, groaning behind a wall he clearly heard, a noise that here is quite absurd. This is where we all should learn what dangerous drink can make us spurn. Knock back 2 pints and fear no evil, and good Scots whisky face the devil. The drink so frothed in Jock's soft brain, he'd face the worst and dread no pain. And fortified by quarts of beer, he left his bike and entered here. Venturing on towards the din, he saw the strangest party begin. Wizards and witches in a dance, no fancy step, just sent from France. Scots hornpipes, jigs and Scottish reels put life and spirit in their heels. And there a-squatting to the east sat old Nick, the wicked beast, a roughneck, black and very large. To give the music was his charge. He played the pipe and made it squeal. He almost made the church bells peal.
And at the centre of the horde lay a skeleton, pinned by a sword. Then Jock saw some daggers, red, plucked from corpses newly dead, with more, so horrible and awful, even describing it would be unlawful. As Jock stared on, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they jigged, they crossed, it seemed that each witch sweated till she steamed, and threw her clothes off east and west, and danced on gaily in her vest.
These withered hags, all skin and bone, what a sight to make the bravest moan. Dancing about at such a lick, I wonder Jock did not feel sick. But he knew what was what all right, and soon he spied a prettier sight. One damsel danced, a new recruit, her form the short vest did just suit. A lively lass, her flings she flung, young Nanny leapt and danced and swung. How little guessed her dear old granny, the vest she bought for little Nanny, with all the pennies of her riches, would ever see a dance of witches.
Jock gazed on and felt bewitched. His tired body seemed enriched. Even Satan stared, and with this strain, he blew his pipes with might and main. Forgetting the place and even the hour, ignoring witchcraft, fearful power, Jock roared out, "Well done, Shimmy Shirt!" This cut the dancing very curt. As he turned swiftly on his track, the witches rushed to the attack. Now Jock bolts. The witches follow with dreadful screaming, fierce and hollow. Jock, for your sins you'll have to pay. In hell your skin they're sure to flay. Old Nick will soon become your master if you can't cycle faster, faster. He's sober now and scared to death and running short of strength and breath. Come on, Jock, get up that ridge, down the slope and reach the bridge. No witch may cross a running stream Jock peddles hard to foil their scheme. Then Nanny, younger than the rest, hard upon his swift light pressed, and flew for Jock with furious ire. But now Jock pulled out all his fire.
One spurt made bike and rider sure, though Jock had one shame to endure. The witch clutched fiercely at his rear. Jock felt his doom was very near. She pulled so hard he quaked with guilt. She tugged again, off came his kilt. But now the water stops the witches, though Jock is minus kilt or breeches. Although the chilly draught he feels, to Satan now he shows his heels.
Now, whoever this shall see, old or young, just listen to me. And when to drink you feel inclined, or some lass with short vest takes your mind, remember, you will pay the price. From Jock's adventure, take advice.